Hey everyone, and welcome to this little tutorial about how you could make your first home in Valheim. This build is quite easy to make, doesn't require too much resources, and is quite versatile when it comes to customizing the way you want it and future improvements. It will provide the player that enjoys the outdoors with the basic needs all the way up to the second boss, or even more. Or maybe you just want to make a fast build for an outpost somewhere in a biome that you want to be in. Who knows? In any case, let's begin, shall we? First things first, use your gardening tool to level the ground as much as you can. You will need a decent sized area, but it all depends on how big you want this to be. Second, start off by using a 2 meter high wooden pole and place it somewhat in the outer area of your selected area. Then place down two 2 meter long beams and add a 2 meter high wooden pole so it mirrors each other. Now select a 2 meter long wooden beam and turn it twice on your mouse wheel, then place it so it connects with the pole and place two of them one after the other. Then turn the wooden beam twice again and place two more. Continue this process all the way around until you connect it with your 2 meter pole so you somewhat get a circle. And remember, if you're struggling with the beams disappearing into the earth, then use the gardening tool to level the ground, it'll make it so much easier. Your construction site should now look a bit like this, with two poles in the front and beams going all around 2x2. Now add two 2 meter wooden poles and a second 1 meter high pole on top of each. This will be our sleeping area, and you can add height or lower it depending on your preferences. I will however suggest a minimum of 3 meters height, otherwise your character could get stuck after sleeping. Behind the upper part of the pole, add a 26-degree wooden wall on each pole, followed by a 46-degree wooden wall. Select a 26-degree thatch roof on the top and a 45-degree thatch roof to close up the back. Cover the hole on each side with a regular wooden wall and then add a 2 meter long beam on the top to make it look a bit more sturdy. Now we can place a bed, and depending on your preferences, you can place more beds in there if you play with a friend, or if you're just like me and prefer more space to turn on. And remember, check your bed if you can interact with it or not, so you can use it for spawn point or sleeping. Don't forget it. Place two wooden half walls to the left of the sleeping area, and then afterwards place two wooden half walls to the right of the sleeping area. Now place two wooden half walls to the right of the front gate. Now I want you to find the middle of the construction site and place down a regular wooden floor. It doesn't have to be laser point accurate. Once you have placed the wooden floor, select the 2 meter wooden beam and place one on each side of the wooden floor. When done, delete the wooden floor again. Now place a campfire in the middle of the square. Neat! We now have fire! Now it's time to craft a cooking station over our campfire for when we need to cook some delicious food in the future. Depending on your needs, you can craft as many cooking stations as you can fit within the campfire, but I would suggest one or two for now. Now place two wooden half walls to the left as shown on the picture. Across the sleeping area, use two half wooden walls and then add 2x2 half walls to form a square. Then add two stairs for easy access. And then close the hole with four regular wooden floor pieces. Place a 2 meter high wooden pole followed by a 1 meter high wooden pole on both sides and mirror the way we built the sleeping area. Do this by placing a 26-degree wooden wall on the top of each pole, followed up by adding a 45-degree wooden wall on the lower half. Add a thatch roof that matches the upper and the lower wall. And just like before, close both holes with a regular wooden wall on each side. Now add a workbench, and once you've placed it, make sure that you can actually interact with it. There isn't too much room for upgrades for now, but the first ones are wood blocks, so you can just add them outside for the aesthetic. Next up, we need some storage space. We start by placing two wooden regular walls 2x2 in order to form a square. Then we place the wooden floor by aiming around the small line area in order to make the floor high enough to cover the dirt, but also low enough for us to walk over without the need of stairs. Now you can craft a chest or two if you want, but depending on how much storage you need, you can always turn the chest around so you can fit more in there. Next step is to place a 2-meter high wooden pole on top of each other on each side. Once you have done this, do the same on the back side as well. Select a 26-degree wooden beam on the front and on the back facing towards each other. Select the 26-degree thatch roof to cover the sky. If you want, you can use the 2-meter long wooden beams to make it look more sturdy and pleasant to look at. And there you have it, a small storage facility. If we don't add some sort of protection for the campfire, then when it rains it will make it die out, so we will have to build something around it. We will start by adding the 2-meter high wooden poles around it on each corner. On each pole add another smaller one to raise the height. Since the campfire will produce smoke, we will have to raise the structure so the smoke won't gather around the fire and make the fire die out. Sometimes the smoke works in mysterious ways, so you will have to test it out with how high you need to build it in order to save the fire from dying out. Add some wooden beams and then place the roof of your choosing. Now we will remove the beams from our front since they are no longer needed. We will then raise the gate by adding a 1-meter pole on each side, followed by a 26-degree wooden beam to connect both sides. So far your construction should look very similar like this. Depending on how much wood you are willing to farm, you can always use more wooden beams on each wall to make it look more sturdy and polished. But for now, this should help you get started with your new adventure. If you don't mind the grind, you can always scale it up with increasing the core structure from the beginning with 4 beams rather than 2 or even more. What is your thought of this kind of structure? Would you want to try this out and make it much more amazing than what I did? Comment on the video and let me hear your thoughts, and thank you for watching.